Welcome back to the garage where we are making your Bronco, your dream Bronco. Hey, if this is your first time here, I would love to have you subscribe as I am fully restoring a 1974 Ford Bronco. I bought this Bronco for $2,000 and my goal is to keep track of every dollar and every hour spent to, in the end, sell it and turn a profit. Now, where I'm at today is I am working on the brakes, and I've done a video on the front brake disc install, but I've never done a video on the rear brake disc install. So I thought I would do that today as I am putting my rear disc brakes on this Bronco. Now, the kit that I got is from Tom's Offroad. It's the 4-wheel disc package thing that, you know, it comes with the front brakes and the rear brakes and the proportioning valve and all that kind of stuff. So as you can see, I already put my axle back into the 9-inch and I put the spacer plate on there and put the bolts in place. And these are the bolts that are shaved off on one side so that they can fit up against the axle tube a little bit better. Then you're going to take your base caliper bracket and put the bracket bolts in place. And then slide this down in there. It's looking like I don't have enough spacer for my caliper to slide on. So I'm going to go back, add another spacer, maybe go with one of these as a third one. So looking at this, so this is the welded nut insert that needs to be facing towards the differential. So needs to be facing that way, not towards the caliper, this way. And it's on this bracket, the caliper bracket. What I did was I added a shim over here. Sorry, hard to see. I added a shim which pushed this further out, which actually means that my caliper won't slide over the welded nut. So I actually went the wrong way with this. So what I need to do is I need to bring it in. So I'm going to take this third shim completely out and just run the two thicker shims and see if the caliper right here will slide over this nut. So on your Banjo bolt, you go copper washer on copper washer, and then the two copper washers kind of compress and a little bit, give you a little bit of a seal around the Banjo bolt when you're putting it in. All right, now for those of you who have done this install, you'll notice that I still have my shock in the stock shock bracket. Per the instructions, Tom's Offroad actually says to move the shock out of this bracket, and they give you a longer bolt to relocate it out here, so it's kind of out here. But my issue is when I do that, or when I try to do that, I start hitting, my shock is actually hitting right there, and it won't go over far enough to get outside of that relocation bracket. So I'm gonna stop right here with kind of where I'm at. I'm gonna leave the shock in the stock place. Why you want to move it away from this is obviously so that it's not like rubbing together, but so that you can use your emergency brake cable. This is the emergency brake kind of lock mechanism right here, and it kind of sits on the outside of the caliper, so you want to move your shock away so that nothing gets in the way and messes with that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the weight of the tub, the body on here, and figure out what I need to do to move this. And I'd hate to have to grind that bracket and actually move it over, because as you guys know, I've already powder coated my axle and rebuilt it. Gosh, that would be such a bummer to have to relocate that tab and mess up my powder coating. But this is why when you're doing a restoration, you want to make sure that you kind of build it twice. So I should have built all of this, the suspension, the brakes, everything, then taken it all apart, got my axles powder coated. So lesson learned for sure. I'm gonna do that when I drop my body on. I'm gonna build the body, build like all the interior, everything, the engine, everything with the body on, and then pull it apart and paint it so that if I gotta cut into anything, then I'm not messing with my paint. So lesson learned for sure, but I'm gonna pause here and I'm gonna figure that out when I have the weight of the vehicle all on there, springs compressed, shock compressed, and see what happens with that, because that will change things for sure. So that's it. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't yet, make sure to check out the entire restoration. I'll put a playlist for you to watch the whole thing. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time.